I've got all of this gold that I'm giving people and all of this wisdom and everything from my years of doing this, and then they're not doing anything with it. They're not even showing up for my master classes. They're not showing up to, online events or in-person events. What I do is I help coaches and consultants grow and scale their high-ticket membership offers. Here's what happens in most businesses, and here's what's probably going on in your business, and here's how it can be fixed.
All right, welcome back, listener. All right, today I have a special guest. This is Scott Whitaker, and Scott and I got connected recently, and he does very similar things, and he thinks in a similar way. And I am so excited to be connected to you, Scott. And Scott, for the listener, you are world class at working on a client's high end, high ticket membership or back end offer itself. And there's much more to unpack there. I don't mean to cannibalize that term at all, but Scott, it's a pleasure to be connected to you. I'm excited for our chat today.
Daniel, it's great to be here. Thank you for the invitation. It's an honor to be able to share with your audience. And what I do is I help coaches and consultants grow and scale their high ticket membership offers. So whether it be a membership that's high ticket, a coaching offer, or a mastermind, go in and help them construct those offers and then grow and scale the business, which, I, like you, love helping those thought leaders grow their business and really just impact more lives.
Excellent. So, Scott, I love a good story. How did you get to where you are now? Tell me about
Yeah,
it.
so, it's kind of a loaded story. So if you haven't noticed from some of the gray hair, I go way back into the world of probably it was 2007. I joined a coaching group. It was actually a coaching group for pastors of churches.
Okay.
And at the time, I was a pastor of a church, setting out to go start a brand new church from scratch. And I knew, honestly, I needed a coach. So regardless of what you know about religion or churches or anything like that, it's probably wrong. But in starting a brand new church, it really was an entrepreneurial journey where literally my family and we moved to a city. We didn't know anybody. We had no funding or anything like that. Had to go out and do fundraising, honestly, through partnership development and so forth. And so I joined a coaching network to learn how to do those things and to start church from scratch. We started our very first Sunday using direct mail and had over 276 people in attendance our very first Sunday, which, if you know anything about churches, to go from 0 to 276 is phenomenal, no small feat.
Yeah.
And during that time, I ended up striking up a friendship with the guy who was coaching all these pastors. And he was in New York. I was in Atlanta. He was coaching New York, fly to LA, do a day of coaching there, fly to Phoenix, do a day of coaching there, then fly to Atlanta where I was, do a day of coaching there, and then fly back to New York. And he did that all in 1 week, every single month. And, the coaching program began to grow and he needed some help. And so I started to help him out just kind of on the side. And we began to, do more and more with that. So long story short, I ended up leaving the church I started, going and growing that coaching business and taking it from 72 members to over 3,000 members. It was the largest in its niche. And about 2016, I said, kind of like Seinfeld, I'm on top. We built the largest in its niche. I bet you I can go and do this for other niches. And so since then, I've been able to help create the largest coaching businesses in different niches, including childcare, dance studio owners, dry cleaning business owners, podiatry, dental. I've been able to work with the dental niche, the largest coaching organization there, service businesses like HVAC, plumbing, electrical, all of that. And I tell people I get to lay my head down at night knowing that vicariously through all of those coaching organizations, I'm impacting literally thousands of lives by helping them grow and scale their coaching program. So that is a very long story to where we are now, from 2007 to where we are. But that's how I got started and where we're at. So it's been really good. I've got a couple of books, High Ticket Coach,
Yeah.
And at the
Yeah,
time,
what are the books behind you right there? What are the
yeah.
titles?
So, High Ticket Coach, that is my book on basically crafting your high ticket coaching program and your high ticket membership offer. Then next month, which probably honestly about the time this podcast might be released, the book will be released. It's going to be High Ticket Events is another book that's coming out next month, November. And then I've also got a book called Accelerate. And that really is more for a low ticket membership and helping them grow and scale low ticket, which I don't do a whole lot anymore with. But then about February, I'm going to have my next book after high ticket events will be high ticket marketing. So I'm a writer at heart and have plans for two more books after that with high ticket masterminds and high ticket retention. So be on the lookout for all those. So yeah, those are the books.
Excellent. Oh man. Well, something you said earlier is the reason why I wanted to talk with you deeper. Impact. And I have a mission internally, and I share it on my own webinars. It's to impact 1 million lives, and I want to do that through impact arbitrage. And similar to you, I want to work with one client that can impact positively 1,000 people or even 10,000 people. So we very much share that similar mindset there.
Yeah. I'll tell you, you might expand. You said 1 million people. I'm going to challenge you to expand it,
Yeah.
and here's why. My one of my clients, the Child Care Success Academy, just announced. This is literally why I'm going to challenge you to expand it.
Yeah.
They just announced last week that they have positively impacted 1.9 million children. And so, again, I get to lay my head down at night knowing,
Yeah.
like vicariously through them, I'm having a hand in
Yeah.
positively impacting those 1.9 million children. I'd
Yeah.
never thought about the number. So I'm going to accept my own challenge, Daniel,
Yeah.
that I need to think what that number would be that I'm
Yeah.
actually going to positively impact. But 1 million is probably, if I was to say it to you, man, like knowing you and knowing your impact and who you're serving and your audience, you may already be close to doing that already. And so maybe both of us need to just broaden our horizons. I need
Yeah.
to set the standard. You need to expand the standard if I'm going to
Like it.
call us both out there. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for the challenge there. We can add an extra zero too, as well. Um, so yeah, and to quantify it, I actually track these metrics. It's close to 250,000 at this point.
awesome.
So, I know this is public record. People will listen to it, but privately between you and I, yeah, you're right. I'm 25% of the way there. So yeah, let's add an extra zero to it right away. So 10
Yeah, why
million
not?
people. 10 million people between now and 2030. Let's just say that gives us 5 years, and yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, Scott, tell me about high ticket. What does high ticket, the term high ticket, mean to you?
Yeah, that's kind of a loaded question. Everybody wants to know. So, what is high ticket? So, number one, I will say this: it's niche dependent. Everybody wants to
Mm,
focus in on like dollar amount when they talk about high ticket. They're basically not. This isn't necessarily what you're asking, but a lot of people that are listening would probably say, okay, but what's the dollar amount in the way of high ticket? But I number one would say it's not about the dollar amount. It is about the value proposition to the right avatar. Because I know some membership programs that could be $1,000 in one niche, and quite honestly, that would be a low ticket offer.
mm,
But then in other niches, that would be a high ticket offer. And so too many coaches and consultants when they read on high ticket, they're so focused in on the dollar amount that's going to be the recurring revenue that's being charged every single month. To me, it's really niche dependent because I don't want to set a ticket too high. So what I like to do is I like to have various offers, and one of them at the very top is what I like to call is the back pocket offer, which is my highest ticket offer, and I can always have that in the background. Now, I want to also make it very clear: I'm not talking about not being a person of integrity.
yeah.
Very much being a person of integrity. Um, in that what you charge one, you really should charge the other if it's the same offer. So you're not out there adjusting your fees or whatever. But most people, they do have a niche, and so you look at your niche and then start testing the offer as to how high can it go. And then once you start doing that, and I tell people, especially in high ticket coach, to really, you want to start the high ticket offer. You want to start that out low and then grandfather them in as you continue to increase the rate. And you will end up finding that there is this breaking point where you're not picking up as many members as you would financially. The numbers wouldn't work out where, if you kept it at this lower level, lower price point, you would actually pick up more members and have more revenue than if you tried to increase it. You would have fewer enrollments or what. So it really is variable depending upon the niche. But having said that, does seem to be at least this consensus that that 997 or $999 just right before 1,000, that is the lowest of the high ticket, and then it goes up from there.
Gotcha. Well, I want to unpack that with two questions. Number one, do you have a framework, whether it's loose or a strict framework for, based on your niche or even industry, we suggest these price ranges, or is it more up
Yeah,
to
I
you
mean,
and data driven?
well, I always like to see what others are out there doing, and
Yeah.
then in some cases do the opposite. Um, then in other cases, I also, depending upon the goal. Let me back up and say that um, it really is the difference between low ticket and high ticket.
Hmm.
Um, Everybody could lower their prices, and you would probably have a higher quantity of impact. And what I mean by that is you literally could take your high ticket offer, convert it to $99, and it's $99 now, and you're just going to go for the quantity of people that you can get in that membership offer. But when it comes to high ticket, you really do transition from quantity to quality. And my mantra on that is money buys commitment. And if you gave the same resources, same training, same coaching program to somebody who's only investing $99, you're going to get a $99 commitment back. And it's one of the reasons why I no longer offer a low ticket offer, because I was getting so frustrated that here it is. I've got all of this gold that I'm giving people and all of this wisdom and everything from my years of doing this. And then they're not doing anything with it. They're not even showing up for my master classes. They're not showing up to, online events or in-person events or anything like that. It's really just like all that's happening is the credit card's being dinged, and I don't want that. I want impact. And so I could then take it and convert it to a high ticket, and I'm going to get a deeper level of commitment. All of a sudden now, they're now showing up for calls. All of a sudden, they're now, doing what I've suggested or encouraged them to do, and they follow through with it. And so I really have found that money buys commitment. Now, if you want to go for a broad impact and just impact as many people as possible, I mean, having a low ticket membership offer where it's, $37, $99, whatever it is, and just go for, hundreds, thousands of people, great, go for it. Do that. That's what you need to do in order to have that broad impact. But for me, I want it to be influence. And that's really the key word, where the low ticket offer, I would equate that to impact large numbers. But for high ticket, I would say the key word there is where now I want to influence and highly influence a lesser number. And so that becomes the breaking point.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense to me. Hey, Daniel Pope here. Real quick, I want to give you a huge thanks for listening. If you're enjoying it, I'd love it if you share with others. That's how I get the word out, by you sharing it with somebody that could really benefit from this. Now, I started this podcast to stand out above the noise, to give real growth tactics in a crazy world when others may give some misinformation or not cover everything you need to know. That's not my MO. My MO is being able to give back, being able to help others see what they actually need to do in order to grow. And that's why personally, my company, Be Known, we don't offer any courses or coaching programs. We're a done for you service provider because we know in this world, sometimes people just need a helping hand, a connected team, and an expert to be there every step of the way. So again, I really appreciate you listening and talk to you soon. I'm curious if the high ticket price point in this high ticket membership model works for both B2C, business to consumer, or people without a business, in my opinion. And then I'll use this term, and I haven't heard this term used anywhere else, but B2E, business to entrepreneur, which is more the solopreneur or very micro business, as well as B2B, which is business to business. So those three categories there, does it work for all three, or tell me about it?
Yeah. So the answer is yes. My pause is that everybody thinks about it in the same way that you articulate it, in the sense of it being a category.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
if you if you remove that word category and you think about it in the word of a pocket, so I
Hmm.
like to think about it as people have different pockets. Because if it's B2B, there's still a decision maker there. I mean, like, the business isn't making a decision. It's people are making the decision. Usually, could be one person, it could be multiple people making the decision. And so there's multiple pockets that you're having to tap into. And depending upon the size of the company, they might even be thinking like, okay, whose line item is this going to fall under and everything else. And so if you think about it in the sense of a pocket, so there's the business to business pocket, which you do have to articulate the outcome differently and the results differently. Then there is the business to consumer, which, yeah, I mean, consumers have pockets just like the people in the business have pockets. So it will work, but you have to know how to tap into the pocket. So, is it the right avatar for it? Because not every, consumer is just going to be the right, avatar for that high ticket membership offer. You could use an example from, the fitness industry. Like, there is the consumer that is out there that is the, I just want to work out at Planet Fitness and pay, what, $19 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But then there are the personal trainers out there who will charge, $1,000 a month for personal training. And it comes with other services, including diet and food programs and all of that. But
Yeah.
they've been able to sell it at a higher ticket. It's just, it's still business to
Mm,
consumer. It's just a different
yeah.
pocket. It's a different consumer that is doing it. And then in the way of entrepreneur, I would say again, it's a different pocket. Usually with entrepreneurs, it's still encompassing something around their business. And there could also be that it's not just business, but also personal development, which, in every high ticket coaching program, in my opinion, you probably should have an element of mindset and personal development there for them. But yeah, so then you're tapping into that pocket, and you just got to again know how to tap into it. Which, I mean, just to say, it's quite honestly, it's like the service that you provide, and knowing how to do the marketing to those people. And so, if you guys haven't hired Daniel or considered, being known as somebody who's going to help you with your marketing, you really ought to consider it, because the value of his question right there should prove alone that, like, he's got tools and resources to know how to tap into those different pockets that I would say there are, and help you get more clients or more members in your coaching program.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Scott, for the edification there. Um, my mind is jumping in all sorts of areas, and I completely agree about the pocket aspect of it. And y- I'm curious, when it comes to scale, because my mind is jumping to, okay, the operations aspect, how is this able to be fulfilled if I'm going out there and charging $1,000 a month for, let's just say, this fitness membership, then there's a certain capacity until you bring in other coaches and other. So would you like to walk through the just a general example of some of the questions you asked a client before you start work with them, or tell me about that. How are you thoughtfully thinking through something that doesn't break at scale?
Yeah. So I measure all my clients against what I call are my 7 membership multipliers.
Okay.
And so really what I do is I look at where they are, and I'll give you the 7 membership multipliers. One is content. So content really is about your content catalog. So everything that you can provide for your audience, for your niche, everything that you can coach on and teach on. Then it is about your content calendar, and that's when you're going to deliver that sort of content. And then it's your content categories. So there's different categories that you would put your content under, in the sense of, like, it could be evergreen content, which means I can teach on it at any time, or there's only certain times of the year which would make it time bound. But you get to categorize it in any framework. And so I always look for what do they have in the way of content. They've got to have content. If anybody ever comes to me and says, "Hey, I want to be a coach," and I start, asking them, what do they have? And they're like, "Well, I'm hoping that you'll put me in the coaching business." I'm like, "Well, I'm not your guy. I'm not going to be the
Yeah.
one to give you content." So content is one multiplier. And then the next multiplier is assimilation. And assimilation is all about, how do you take a member from sign up to fully engaged? So if somebody joins, a mastermind, and they go to the first meeting, which you were saying about how you just came back from a mastermind event,
Mm,
uh,
yeah.
if that was your first event, you'd probably say, "I just joined this mastermind group." And there may have been people there who just joined. And they're saying, "Well, this is my first event. I just joined." That's one psychology. They're not fully engaged. They're not fully assimilated. But then if you take that other member who's been there for 3 years, and they would say, "I'm a member of this mastermind."
Mm,
And so what are the steps that move our language from saying, "I just signed up for this," to "I'm a member of"?
yeah.
And it's all about assimilation. So 3 keywords: what do you want them to receive? What do you want them to believe? What do you want them to achieve? And so you answer those 3 questions, then now you're able to assimilate them. So I look at what, my prospects are doing in the way of that assimilation. Then after content assimilation, the third multiplier is marketing. Now, membership businesses, where I diverge from a lot of thinking on this, is membership businesses aren't like customer-based businesses, in that we have to do marketing to do both, get members and keep members.
Yeah.
And so so many of them focus in on just doing marketing to get members as much as possible. So
Mm,
what can we do to also do marketing to keep them? And so it's a two-pronged marketing system. Then there's retention, which retention is all about 2 keywords. It's all about relationships and results. And so everybody wants to, make retention all about these metrics and everything else, which I'm all for measuring retention. So don't misunderstand me in that regard. But you also have to be able to measure what matters. And what matters is, are they building relationships with others through a community, relationship with you as the coach as well, or the coaches? But then also, are they getting the results? If I was to join your membership program, and I came to you and I said, "Well, hey, I'm Daniel, I like you, great person, all about impact and everything else. I resonate with that, but I just don't know that I'm getting the results. I'm going to leave." Somebody comes to you and says, "I'm getting results, but I don't feel connected. I just don't feel like, this is really my group." They're going to leave. Somebody says, "Daniel, I love your program, man. I love you. I'm getting great results. I feel really connected here." You know what they're going to do? They're going to stay. They might go join another program, but they're actually going to stay and do both.
Yeah.
And
I've
so,
seen
so
that.
long as you continue to get them relationships and results, they're going to stay in your program. So that's retention. Then there's ascension, and that is the ability to move people upward and downward in your membership program. And so being able to have some sort of up level, I don't like to use the word upsell, but it really is an up leveling process to move them and progress them into their best life or their best business. And then also the ability to down level them if the opportunity is needed and they need some sort of ability to be able to go and downgrade their membership. The last two I'm going to give together again. It's content assimilation, marketing, retention, ascension, and the last two are strategy and leadership.
Hmm.
So strategy is all about looking at your business differently instead of taking what most do, and that's look at customer-based businesses and apply it to recurring revenue businesses, which is what coaching and mastermind and memberships are. You got to look at it very different. I often use the example, somebody says, well, we got 10 new members off of Facebook and we got 5 new members off of LinkedIn. Let's shut down our LinkedIn ads and let's throw all that money at Facebook. I would say, well, let's not do that. Hold on. Let's come back in and 3 6 months later, where are those members that we picked up off of Facebook? Well, those 10 we're now down to 3 because we have a high churn rate
Yeah.
and we're not retaining them. Well, what about those 5 members we picked up off of LinkedIn? Well, we're at 4. We kept 4 out of 5. Well, now which do you want to do? You want to throw all the money at LinkedIn, you're getting a better quality member. So that's the strategy side of it. And then leadership is really all about, I mean, I'll just say, like, it's about this podcast. I mean, you're listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, this is part of your leadership development. So I would say, number one, if you haven't, subscribed to the podcast, you should, and constantly listen to the episodes that Daniel puts out and the people that he's exposing you to. Like, you got to let this be part of your leadership development in your business. The next thing I'll just say, honestly, Daniel, to just encourage people to take next steps with you is to go to beknownonline.com/learn and take advantage of the masterclass that you have there and get them to see, you guys ought to see your business differently based upon this free masterclass that he has for you, to just be able to say, okay, what are the holes in your business that you don't know are even there, that a guy like Daniel can say, hey, listen, here's what happens in most businesses, and here's what's probably going on in your business, and here's how it can be fixed. And so go to beknownonline.com/learn and get that free training so that you can take next steps in your own leadership development and have greater impact and serve more people.
Hmm. Yeah. Scott, the 8 multipliers, very powerful. And listener, I want you to go back through those. Pause this episode, rewind, go back through those step by step and write them down. And then also engage with Scott. Get the book. I'm definitely going to read the books. I've got my book being finished up now, and
Nice.
this resonates
Congratulations.
completely. Yeah, thank you. So, Scott, funny enough, I just wrote a post on this. It talks about the 8 pillars of an AI proof coaching business. And I'm still memorizing them in my head just to be fully transparent, so I can't rattle them off to you. But it talked about things such as, what are the artifacts, what are the physical items you ship people when they come in your program? How do you make them feel welcome? And it talks about, how do you provide deliverables? It's great that you provide a course. Okay, cool. But what else do you provide? Coaching calls? Do you provide some services on top of it? Do you provide support? And so I just want you to know that, the way that you're looking at it, listener, the way that Scott is looking at this is, again, world class. This is what you need to be thinking about in your own business. It's not, how many more modules can I stick in my course? No, no, no. This is exactly where you need to be right now in 2025 plus. To date ourselves, this is October 2025, but from here on out, there's a divide. One path, you're putting up a toll booth on a free interstate. That's selling a course with 30 modules. That's it. It's not going to work anymore. The other path is what we're talking about here. being intentional about your business design, and up leveling, down leveling, being a guide, a transformation leader. So I don't want to get too hung up on that, but just so you know, it's very top of mind for me right now, Scott, as well.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm curious, how are you doing testing around, does this offer work? Does this high ticket membership actually resonate with the audience or pockets out there? And what kind of tests?
Yeah. So, interestingly enough, I don't do testing on it.
Okay.
And it's because I mean, I've been doing this now since 2016, but then in the previous business, honestly, since 2007. But really in the high ticket world since 2016. And so I've uh, I've kind of been around long enough to know, and I'll kind of make the statement of proof this way. I had a client. I'm not gonna say his name. I'll give his first name. His first name is Dave, and I'll give you his niche. He's in dry cleaning businesses. I get it. People might be able to Google from there, but uh,
All good.
I did something really interesting with Dave. Now, Dave came to me and reached out to me one time and said, "Hey, listen, I'd like to work with you." He's a super successful entrepreneur, has a successful brick and mortar business with his own dry cleaning business. He owns like 72% of the market share in his city, so already successful guy. Okay, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'd like to work with you." I said, "Well, Dave, it's going to be a VIP day," and he invested in my VIP day, and I constructed his membership program, and gave him my high ticket offer of us continuing to work together, and he said, "Let me see what I can make happen." During the time afterwards, when we were not working together, I'm kind of making the story a little bit longer because he did something that you just referenced. He went out and created a high ticket course. And I think there's like 25, 27 modules in this marketing course that he had, and he was going to sell the course for $5,000. And he joined a mastermind where everybody was encouraging him to do this. And he didn't sell any of the courses at $5,000. Struggled very hard to sell it, and was finally selling it maybe around $500 or whatever. Created a membership program where it was $500, and he was on Zoom every single week for $500 and giving them everything he's got. And like, he reached out to me again and said, "Hey, listen, I didn't follow your advice. I'm doing this." He had 25 members. And that sounds like a made up number. It's not. He had 25 members paying him $500. And he said, I just don't know what to do. I can't do this for $500. And so we did another VIP day together, constructed his membership. And I said, "Dave, here's what we're going to do. We're going to shut down your business. Like, we're literally going to go to revenue zero. We're going to tell those 25 members this membership is going away. And what we're going to do is we're going to create a mastermind group to where they're going to get 4 meetings a year. They're going to get you on Zoom once a month in between those meetings, and you're going to deliver your best to these folks." And now, most people would be shaking in their boots and thinking like, "Okay, can I really tell this client of mine who's paying me a high ticket offer?" And I don't mean like high, I mean like extremely high. That he's going to go to revenue zero. And I mean, I know like I could do that because I've got the track record and knowledge and all of that. So I know that sounds arrogant, but like I don't have to test it. And so we went in, he pitched it, and I helped build the pitch and how we're going to do this and position it to the members of 25 members. Here's what's going to happen. You're not going to be billed next month. The month after that, I'm launching this new mastermind group, and here's everything that you're going to receive. And this group is going to go away. And if you enroll today, I've got all of this and you're going to be able to do this, but you have 30 days basically to make a decision. Otherwise, at the end of the 30 days, this is going away and no more. And all but two, all but two people went from paying him $500 a month to $1,500 a month 3 times. Uh, and I checked in with him on one of our check-in calls, and he told me, he said, "You know what? The two people that didn't enroll are the two people I didn't want to enroll in the mastermind." Is I
Yeah.
kept all the good people.
Yeah.
Since then, he's grown from 23, and I think he's now over like 60 members, and he's only
Yeah.
18 months in.
Nice.
So again, I say that because it's really not about testing. I know the formula, the process kind of deal to where it's been tested in multiple niches and things like that. He's not. There are some things I've encouraged him to do. I've encouraged him to raise his price to $2,000.
Yeah.
That's not happened yet. I think there's some money left on the table when it comes to that. But it's his business. Will they make the decisions on it or what? But
Yeah.
there's definitely opportunities there to continue to push the business forward. And now the goal is taking the business from where it's at, which I don't want to share his numbers, but the goal is right now is to get his business up over 3 million in the next 12 months. And so we're creating a pathway for that. So, it's not, sometimes it's not about testing. Sometimes it's about having the fortitude, the audacity, the courage to just be able to say, nope, this is what we're going to do. I've seen it. I'm going to make it happen. So for some of you who are coaches, the pathway. Sometimes I would say you let your clients maybe talk you out of what you should do.
Hmm.
And the reality is I told Dave, I know this is what you should do. And, he could either walk away and say, okay, I'm not going to follow your advice again, or he could say, okay, I didn't do it the first time. I'm going to do it this time. I'm going to follow your advice and I'm all in on it. And that's what he did. And so, there's something to be said about him and his willingness to be able to do that and to be able to say, I'm literally turning off the recurring billing of all that revenue. And we did some math on it. Basically to get the same revenue, all we needed was like 8 members
Yeah.
to convert over to the new offer. So again, there was some of that, like, can we do this? And I knew he had great relationships with the people and all of that. And, I was confident that we would do more than that. I honestly thought we'd probably be at around, 15 to, 18. So I wanted to manage expectations a little bit and say, well, let's see if we can get 15. And he's like, no, I got 22. I got all but, all of them, but 2 of them. So
Oh man. What a story there.
yeah.
Listener, it's something so important that Scott said. It was sometimes we allow our clients or the noise of everyone else talk ourselves out of what we know we should be doing. And Scott, I had a similar situation happen to me. Uh, I've been studying. My core thing is the webinar model, and I love webinars. Specifically, I love webinars for selling high ticket offers. And it doesn't necessarily sell, but it pre-sells and pre-frames and it transforms beliefs and it creates aha moments and all the fun things that you and I both know. But recently I was listening to some other people that I do trust to an extent, and then I also was observing some other clients that had had success. And the age old question comes up, are webinars dead? And instead of using webinars, we should use VSLs. But at face value, that's what the market pushes, VSLs to application to phone call. But I realize that the majority of my clients, they're not in tune with the hard sell, hard close. And quite frankly, they don't love structuring and managing sales teams. So that's why I like to structure webinars that pre-sell rather than, all right, VSL to anyway. So listener, if you're still with me, the point I'm making is if I had gone out there and just listened to the market noise and the speak and what AI was telling me to, I'd be the VSL guy. I'm not that. But Scott, anyway, I want you to know, man, it's been an honor hearing these things from you, and thank you for pouring into my audience and just helping them understand that, you know what? Sometimes it's okay, but be intentional about it. Sometimes it's okay to raise your prices, be intentional about it, and refocus on the 8 multipliers that Scott talked about. But more importantly, please reach out to Scott. And so I'd love to segue into, where can the listener learn more? Where can they get the book? Where can they engage with you?
Yeah, a number of things. One, you can always reach out to me at membershipmultipliers.com. And again, that is membershipmultipliers.com. I've got the resource there on the membership multipliers. You can download that, learn more about it. The books are also there, but if you don't want to go through the book funnel necessarily, you're always more than welcome to go on to Amazon, pick up the books from there. I would ask, if you go to Amazon, pick it up, leave me a great review after you read the book. And that always is encouraging to others. So those are the ways
Yeah.
to reach out. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, listener, if you haven't picked up on it yet, Scott is absolutely world class. And I trust him wholeheartedly when it comes to structuring great memberships, great paid communities, and great paid high end, high ticket recurring offers that you can implement in your business. So if you're sitting there saying, you know what, I need this, or I've tried it before, it didn't work, you know what, it does work. And Scott has shared more stories privately with me, and I've gone on to see some of the things that he's done. Listener, Scott Whitaker is the person for you when it comes to structuring and also growing and scaling high ticket memberships. So check him out.
Daniel, I appreciate those kind words as well. And I would say back to you as well, man. Again, what you said there with the webinar, I think there's a reason why those webinars that you do for people convert. And that is, one is, when you're a person of impact, um, you can't do that in the, choreographed VSL model,
Yeah.
you know? It's about spending time with them in the webinar, whether it be a recorded webinar where, it's obvious that people know that it's recorded, but they're still feeling like, you're authentic and genuine enough, and doing all the things that Daniel teaches you to do in your webinar, to doing the webinar live and being able to just spend time with a person. Like, there's something about that converts, and let Daniel help you with that as well. So
Mm.
thank you.
Yeah. Listener, thanks for listening. And we will talk very soon. Scott, is a pleasure, and we'll talk soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Take care. Hey there, Daniel Pope here again. I want to take a couple seconds to talk about my company, Be Known. Now, Be Known exists to be a done-for-you service provider for online-based businesses, coaches, and those that sell online courses and information products. We help them grow from 6 figures to 7 figures and then into 8 figures. We do this because there's so much misinformation out there. So many people just selling a course or just a coaching program over how to grow. Well, we're different in the fact that we actually do it with our clients. We take care of the advertising. We take care of the email marketing, the tech, all the tech. Yes, all the tech, the landing pages, the funnels, the growth strategies and tactics. So I think of ourselves as a expert implementation team plus a fractional CMO per se that guides you every step of the way. So if you've listened to this podcast or an episode and said, okay, that's great, but I don't really know how to do that, or I just need help. Well, that's why we exist. So I want to invite you to a call with me, a consultation where we can talk through your business, talk through what's going on, what challenges you have, what constraints, what bottlenecks, and figure out a path forward. If we're a mutual fit to work together, great. If not, no problem. We'll send you on your way with resources and stuff that can help you get up to speed quick. So again, I invite you to talk more with me, and that is beknownonline.com. beknownonline.com/start is where you'll go. And I cannot wait to talk to you. Again, if you enjoyed this podcast, I'd love it if you can share with some friends. Otherwise, I'm looking forward to your success. Take care.